have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that, and other jobs too, but this was a job that had to be superior intelligence. And we didn't really have that, and we had it. And then when I left office and Biden took over, he changed them back to lower than ever before. I put safety first. Obama, Biden, and the Democrats put policy first. And they put politics at a level that nobody's ever seen because this was the lowest level. Their policy was horrible, and their politics was even worse. So as you know, last week, long before the crash, I signed an executive order restoring our highest standards for air traffic controllers and other important jobs throughout the country. So it was very interesting. About a week ago, almost upon entering office, I signed something last week that was an executive order, very powerful, on restoring the highest standards of air traffic controllers and others, by the way. Then my administration will set the highest possible bar for aviation safety. We have to have our smartest people. It doesn't matter what they look like, how they speak, who they are. It matters intellect, talent, the word talent. They have to be talented, naturally talented geniuses. You can't have regular people doing that job. They won't be able to do it. But we'll restore faith in American air travel. I'll have more to say about that. I do want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them. They can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so. This was in January 14th, so that was a week before I entered office. They put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration. This was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website. Can you imagine? These are people that are, I mean, actually, their lives are shortened because of the stress that they have. Brilliant people have to be in those positions, and their lives are actually shortened, very substantially shortened because of the stress where you have many, many planes coming into one target, and you need a very special talent and a very special genius to be able to do it.
Did you catch the news about Trump's latest comments on the FAA? It's pretty intense.
Oh, absolutely. He's stirring the pot again. What's the gist this time?
Well, after that tragic plane crash near the Capitol, he's blaming the FAA's diversity hiring practices.
Wait, so he's linking the crash to DEI initiatives?
Exactly. He claims that the Biden administration lowered the standards for air traffic controllers.
Right.
He says he had raised them during his term.
But didn't those diversity policies exist even when he was in office?
Well,
you know, the FAA mentioned that the diversity language was present during both administrations.
Yeah, that's the thing. So nothing really changed.
Exactly.
It seems like he's just trying to shift blame.
Makes sense. But is there any merit to his claims?
Honestly, the FAA says they thoroughly vet all candidates.
Right.
So his accusations seem unfounded.
It's like he's making a mountain out of a molehill, isn't it?
Exactly. And he went as far as saying they're hiring people with severe intellectual disabilities, which seems a bit...
Extreme?
Yeah, extreme.
That's quite an accusation. Has there been any evidence to support that?
Not that I've seen.
Right.
I think he's just trying to politicize the situation.
Well, that's nothing new, but we should focus on facts. The investigation isn't even complete yet.
Exactly. Jumping to conclusions helps no one.
Totally.
We need to let the experts do their job.
You know, it's kind of ironic.
How so?
Well, advocating for talented geniuses while dismissing the benefits of diversity.
Yeah, it's like saying you want the best team but only selecting players from one school.
Right.
Diversity often brings in that brilliance.
Absolutely. Different backgrounds foster innovation.
Exactly. It's like a symphony needing different instruments to create harmony.
Yeah.
You need variety to make beautiful music.
Great analogy. But do you think he genuinely believes what he's saying?
Hard to tell. Maybe it's more about political gain. Couldn't agree more.
And Buttigieg's response was pretty strong, calling his comments despicable.
Right.
He highlighted their safety record.
Exactly. Facts over rhetoric. We need to focus on
Absolutely.
what's important.
So true. Well, let's hope cooler heads prevail.
For sure. In the
Yeah.
meantime, let's keep an eye on the investigation results.